and then it's kind of, this looks aged. Oh, we don't want to start a fire here. Oh shit, it's hot.
Hey guys, what's up?
So this is part 2 of the table making process. It is colder today and we're still in the garage at the undisclosed location. So we're gonna do 2 things today. We're gonna make the legs of the table first, which aren't wood, and then we're gonna finish painting the table. It's a 2-step process, 2 additional steps where we're gonna paint.
So in the last video we stained it and that's where we ended.
Yeah.
So then today we're going to do like another step process of painting.
Yeah, so we're gonna paint a bright color and then put some Vaseline technique on that color. Then we're gonna paint the whole thing white and then sand it down. If it works right, you will see the stain and the bright color in the spots where you put the Vaseline to make it look like an aged, like it's been weathered outside, it's been painted a couple times.
And again, we saw this on
YouTube.
The internet.
Yeah, this is another video I saw that we'll post these videos in that we're getting all this information from in
the description.
So if you want to try this at home, if you think it turns out all right.
So let's get started.
All right, so here are the materials. We got at the top here, we have a one pipe that is 48 inches long. Then we have 4 6-inch. We have 4 12-inch, 4 18-inch. Then we have some pipe tees. Then we have some, I think they're called converters. And then we have the floor phalanges. I think that's what they're called.
Yeah,
that's
think so.
super weird. But that is all of these supplies for the legs.
So what's he screwing first? Where does he start from?
We got it all together.
So basically all those pipes fit in a way, it was a really weird puzzle, but it makes sense now if you can look at it, because these basically are going to be attached to the table underneath the table, and the tabletop's going to sit on it.
Yes, and then we have this. We have those, they're actually called couplings on the bottom. Those are the feet. And then we have that connection. And then 2 other feet. So once we're done with the table and the finishing, the table will be on top like this.
So yeah, when you're building with these pipes, build one complete side first, then attach the long pipe, and then you just work your way out. Attach this pipe, screw this in here, then you screw this
The T
on in the bottom, and then this part, then this part. But we tried to do it this all in one, and it didn't work out, so we had to unhook. So it's basically make one side first, attach the long bar, and then just work your way out and up and down.
Yep.
Pretty much. So we're gonna move this out of the way, bring the table back in, and finish painting the table. Alright, so we're gonna start painting. We're gonna sand it down first, wipe it down, sand it down, wipe it down. Then we're gonna hit it with this purple. There's the color purple on there. We're not gonna paint the whole thing. We're just gonna do selective, like corners, this patches that we want to come through later. Okay, so once that dries, maybe we'll sand that down a little bit too. Okay, then we'll hit those parts that we hit the purple. We're gonna put a little bit of Vaseline just to coat them. So when we put the white, we're gonna paint the whole table white. Okay, and then we're gonna let that dry. So where the Vaseline is, you put the white over it. When you sand the white, the stain and that purple color will come through and make it look like that was worn off with age, supposedly.
From the internet.
From the internet.
So we'll see.
So we will see.
Alright, so here is a close-up of the table. We're using a purple. As you can see, we're leaving some of the stain that we just sanded. We did small little areas, and then our second coat, we did a huge spot that spanned the whole table just to make it more prominent, the purple.
So we're on to the next step, our second coat of paint. has dried. So we're gonna go on to our second part, which we're gonna put some Vaseline. Look at this, good old Vaseline. We're gonna put this on the table in certain areas that when we sand, we want the sander to actually take it off so that we can get the color through.
Cup of joe. All right, white coat. Let's see how this works. Hopefully I clean the brush all the purple. So, one thing I like about this brush is about 10 years old, but see how the patterns it leaves, like in the paint. That's why I didn't want to spray the table. I wanted it to look like it's old.
And now we're just painting it white. Let that dry, and then we'll be able to sand it. Paint it up. Paint it up. I do like how it looks old.
So here is the coat of white we did. You can see the brush strokes in it. You can kind of see some of the color coming through a little bit already, but that's all right. So where we put the Vaseline should come off quicker, so we don't have to sand as much. So the white will stay white, and the parts with the Vaseline on it will come off. Basically, you just have to wait for it to dry. You want to stare at it for like 2 hours or what?
No, I got so much stuff to do today. But we probably won't do a second coat.
No, it doesn't need a second coat.
And then we'll get to sanding.
So we're waiting for the paint to dry. Once it dries, we have to sand. If it looks good, we're gonna put the coat of polyurethane on it. So when we drop goobers and food on it, it'll be easy to clean. So we might not have a table today because that polyurethane takes a long time to dry. And it's and it's like yee. When you use it, it's like really stinky.
Well, I'll definitely put my mask on for that.
Oh yeah, and after the poly, then we have to screw the legs in to the bottom.
Yep.
So we're 16 screws away and a coat of poly
From a table.
that we made ourselves. Wow. Jeez, dude, it's snowing. This table is never gonna dry. You can still see that it's wet.
Matt over here.
So yeah, it wasn't drying quick enough, so we got the heat gun and we're drying it out.
He's already burning the table off.
That's what the Vaseline was, dude. We're not gonna start off with a sander. We're just gonna start off with a really coarse brush, and we already took a couple passes. If you look, it's doing what we want to do, where you can see the stain through, and then part of that purple. Where we put the Vaseline here, see how the paint's not sticking?
Look at it.
What's your reaction so far to what the effect?
It looks good. I want more of the white off though, because I'm not a big fan of the white. So I can't wait for the finished product.
So yeah, if you look, you can see the purple, you can see the stain.
We got the heavy duty sander out again to finish up the job.
So we threw sanding the thing, and it wasn't a nightmare, but
It was a nightmare.
It could have been better. One thing I would have changed if we could do it over, I'd want 24 hours, 1 day in between each coat. So like stain it, wait 24, put the purple on, wait 24, put the Vaseline on. You probably don't need to wait 24, but then put the white on, wait till, because everything's dry. Because everything wasn't dry, but it was dry to like the touch. It was like underlayer. So when we were sanding, the purple came out and was staining the white paint.
But I like it.
I think it looks good.
It looks good.
There's just parts that
I don't like straight on color white, like white shirts, white anything. I'm not a fan of. So I really do like that the purple kind of stains the white, because then it makes it look older and like grosser.
It does look like an aged piece of wood that's been out in the elements. It looks weathered. It looks dull. When we put the poly on, that it's gonna make the purples pop, and then it's gonna push back the white a little bit. So I think I give it an A, man. This technique,
It's good.
You just need some time.
Let's get on to the poly, because I want this table already. I said we're very impatient, so we're putting the poly upside down. First drill of the legs. Last screw. All right. How do you feel?
Done. All right. We're videoing you from the top of the table. Pretty straight, you know. We'll have to adjust it a little bit, maybe with some felt and all that. It's a little crooked, but I think it's because of the piping. You twist it. You know, one leg is a little too short, but we can play with the pipe and twist it and all that.
And we plan on putting felt or some type of something under it because we don't want it to ruin our flooring.
Yeah, the hardwood floor we have in there.
So
yep, we spent about 2 days on it.
Money wise for this table, it was probably like $125.
$125.
And we used a store called Menards. I don't know. I think it's just like a Midwest location.
So basically, that's like a Home Depot or like a Lowe's if you have those. So it's just like an all-in-one like wood construction tools, paint.
But Menards is like way cheaper than Home Depot and Lowe's and such.
A scale of 1 to 10, how hard was this?
It wasn't too bad. If it was nicer outside.
Exactly. We had to pick a weekend. It gets cold again to do it. But yeah, I would say, you know, it wasn't that hard. I would say, you know, 1 being like easy, 10 being hard. I would say it was about like a 3. There's some frustrating stuff that like, if we had the right tools to do it, it would have been easier.
If you're not a handy person though, and you are not into handiwork, I would say it's about a 5.5, 6.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be handy to do anything like this on your own. I mean, the paint thing, that took it a step further. I mean, that
was just our choice.
We could have just built the table and stained it and been done with it.
Yeah.
But no, we wanted to. If we're building something, we want to make it look like how we want it to look. So, and be happy with it. And I am really happy with it.
And maybe we'll post an Instagram photo later of us eating from it.
Yeah, we will. So, I'm excited to have a table. This is the first dining room table I've ever had in a house. So usually we just use a dining room for like desks and stuff like that. This is kind of like a storage thing. We eat at the TV, but no, we're actually eating at the dining room. So I'm stoked. So what up? Until the next building project video.
Homecraft. Well, bye.
Well, bye.
I have OCD. Oh no. Trouble already.
It's hot.
Let's get to slathering. Or do you want us to do like more of these things?
Coat number 2 of the purple paint.